Hey everyone, let's talk about something you probably have in a drawer somewhere. The matchstick. I know, it seems so simple, right? But believe me, the story behind it is anything but. We're talking accidental discoveries, seriously dangerous chemicals, and a flash of genius that changed everything.
So let's start with a kind of wild question. How do you put an entire bonfire in your pocket? I mean, it sounds crazy, doesn't it? But for like most of human history, that was the ultimate goal. People needed reliable, portable fire, on demand. And the matchstick, that was the unbelievable answer to that problem.
You gotta remember, for our ancestors, fire was, it was everything. It meant warmth, cooked food, safety from predators. It was literally the engine that drove civilization forward. But actually making that fire? Whoa, that was a whole other challenge. I mean, really think about it. You had to have the perfect wood, the right kind of stones, everything had to be bone dry, and even then you needed a ton of effort and frankly a lot of luck. It could take forever, and if it was raining or windy, good luck with that. The world was just crying out for an easier way. And the very first flicker of a solution shows up way, way back, all the way in 6th century China. It was this thing called the fire inch stick. So what were they? Basically just little pine sticks with sulfur on the tips. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. They couldn't create fire from scratch. You still needed a fire that was already going to light one. So yeah, they were awesome for carrying a flame from one spot to another, but they didn't solve that core problem, making that first spark.
And cracking that initial spark? Oh man, that was gonna take a long time to figure out. This timeline here kind of lays it all out for us. It's our roadmap for this whole story. And look at that. It's a journey of over 1,000 years just to get from that simple sulfur stick to the safety matches we barely even think about today.
All right, so the next huge step forward is pretty weird. It didn't come from someone who was actually trying to invent a better way to make fire. Nope, it came from an alchemist who was trying to make gold.
Yeah, you heard that right. This guy, Henrik Brandt, was obsessed with finding the legendary philosopher's stone. The thing that could turn lead into gold? But instead, he accidentally stumbles upon a brand new element, phosphorus. And he immediately noticed something incredible about it. It could burn. This total accident, this was the key that would eventually unlock the entire future of the matchstick.
But just because they found phosphorus didn't mean they had a safe match. The road from that discovery to a usable match was, it was literally toxic. The first real friction matches worked, sure, but they came at a truly awful price.
So get this, in 1826, an English chemist named John Walker is just, stirring a pot of chemicals. He pulls out his stirring stick and sees this dried glob on the end. He goes to scrape it off and poof, it just bursts into flames. His invention, the friction light, was a huge step forward, but they were super unreliable and smelled just terrible. The door was definitely wide open for someone to do it better.
And better came pretty quick, in the 1830s. A French chemist, Charles Soria, decides to add that white phosphorus we talked about into the mix. And the result? The strike-anywhere match. They didn't smell, and their biggest advantage was right there in that quote. They would always light. They just worked, every single time. It was a massive success. But that success had a really, really dark side.
The problem, the huge problem, was that white phosphorus. It was an absolute nightmare. It was so incredibly toxic that people working in the match factories developed these horrific diseases. And if that wasn't bad enough, the match heads tasted sweet, so kids would actually eat them, with devastating, just awful results. This wasn't just a flaw in the design, it was a full-blown public health crisis. Something had to be done.
And thankfully, a much, much safer solution was right around the corner. This is really the climax of the story. The invention that finally made portable fire not just possible, but safe.
The answer was actually found in a different version of the very same element. See, instead of that super dangerous, unstable white phosphorus, chemists found they could use red phosphorus. It's the non-toxic, totally stable cousin. This was the key to making a match that wouldn't poison you. But believe it or not, that was only half of the genius idea.
Okay, so in 1855, a Swedish inventor named Gustav Pasch has this moment of pure genius. It's a two-part solution. Step 1, use the safe red phosphorus. Okay, great. But step 2, this is the truly brilliant part. He separated the ingredients. He put the red phosphorus on the striking strip on the side of the box and kept the other chemicals on the match head itself. So now, the only way to light the match was to strike it on that specific surface. It's so simple, so elegant, and completely safe.
I mean, just look at the difference here. It's absolutely night and day. You go from the old strike-anywhere matches with their toxic white phosphorus and all the ingredients mashed together on the head to the safety match. Non-toxic red phosphorus, ingredients separated for safety. One got banned, the other became the standard all over the world. It's just an incredible leap forward.
And this new, safe technology, it spread like, well, like wildfire. By 1858, just a few years later, a guy named Johann Lundstrom was mass-producing these things, and they were being sold everywhere. That crazy dream of putting a bonfire in your pocket, it was finally real, and it was safe.
And of course, whenever something becomes this common, people start collecting it, right? So here's a great little piece of trivia for you. The hobby of collecting matchboxes and matchbooks, it has a name. It's called Philomene. Just goes to show you the huge impact this tiny little invention had on the world.
So really, the next time you strike a match, just think about that for a second. You're holding the result of a 1,500-year journey of innovation. It started with a simple sulfur stick and ended with this amazing little piece of safe, portable fire. It really makes you wonder, right? What other everyday things are hiding these incredible dramatic stories? Thanks for joining me on this one.